In few previous videos, we have created a form to add a new book. We have also set up the entity framework core into our bookstore web application. Now in this video, we will save the data of the book into database. Let's start. We will learn how can we save the book records in database. If the book is added successfully, then we will display a successful alert and several other things you will learn in this video. Let's open Visual Studio now. Okay, so here we are back to our bookstore web application. Just to recap, if I run this application by pressing Ctrl F5, okay, so the application is working fine. And if I click on this add new book button, then this is the form. So we have these 4 fields. First one is title, author, description, and total pages. And we are going to save these records into the database. So first we will start from our repository. So let's open this repository. Inside this repository, we do not have any method to add a new book. Right now we are using this data source which is written as a private method, but now since we are working with the database, so we will get the entire data from the database. But for now, let's just write a new method to add a new book into the database. So let's keep the method public. Return type is integer and add new book. Inside this add new book, let's pass the book model. And now we are working with the database. So since entity framework works with the contact class, so we need the instance of contact class over here in this book repository. So let's create a new instance. The name of our context class is bookstore context. Let's copy it. Context. Let's make it null. Let's resolve the namespaces. And now we need the instance of this bookstore context. To get the instance of this bookstore context, there are multiple ways. First one is you can simply use the new method and you can create a new instance over here. Second one is you can create a new constructor over here and you can create the instance in this constructor just like this one. Third one is if we are using dependency injections, then we can resolve everything by using dependency injections. And how can we do that? Although we have not covered the concept of dependency injections as of now in this video, but we can use that one. So I can pass bookstore context like this, and I can simply assign this context over here. The application will resolve the context automatically. How? Because we have already written the code into our startup class. So over here you can see that we have added the DB context over here. And if we are using this add DB context over here, then this dependency will be resolved automatically. Now if we will run the application, we will get the instance of this book context class. To add a new book into our database, we have to work with books table, and the corresponding entity class in our project for books table is books class. So here you can see inside the data folder we have this books class. So we have to use this books class. Okay, let's create a new instance of this book where new book is equals to new. Inside this books class we have several properties. So we have to map all these properties from this model class to the new book class. First let's start from author. So we do not have any category as of now, so we can leave it. Created on, the type of created on is date time, so we have to assign a date over here, date time. UTC now, we can use UTC now for handling of the time globally. Description. So since we have only 4 fields on our form, author, description, title, and the total pages, so as of now we will be using only these properties. And the created on and updated on, we have written the current UTC now time. If you want to save the time of this updated on field, then you can save it. Otherwise you can only save the date time for created on, and if you are making any change into that record, then at that time you can use this updated on property. So it is up to you. But now let's focus on the concept. So we have created the instance of this books entity class, and now we need to map it to our context class. How can we do that? So we have to use context dot the name of the entity, which is books dot add, and inside this add method we need to pass the instance of our books class like this. Now we need to save all the changes. How to do that? There is a new method inside this context, save changes. So if you will use this method, then only the application will hit the database. If we are not using the save changes method, the application will not hit. Okay, so what will happen now? So right now over here you can see that we have only 5 to 6 properties in this new book object. After the execution of this record, context.saveChanges, the ID that will be created for this record, that will be associated automatically to this new book object, and we can simply return the ID of this book. So new book dot ID. Okay, let's open the database for a while. So here we are in the management studio, and if I right click on this books and choose the design, then here you can see ID is the primary key, and if I scroll down a little bit over here, expand this identity specification, so identity increment is 1. So it is an identity and the increment is 1. So there is no need to make any change into the database. And if I have a look on the records on this books, so let's right click on this and choose select star. Over here you can see that we do not have any record into the database. Now we need to map this method to the controller class. Okay, let's copy this add new book method. Go to the controller, book controller, and inside this add new book, we need to use this method. How to do that? We already have the reference of the book repository over here. Let's use this add new book, and inside this add new book, we need to pass this book model. So we are done with the changes. Let's build the solution. Okay, so over here we are getting an error. Let's focus on the error. Since in the controller class we are creating the instance of book repository by using this new keyword, and since we have written some logic into the constructor of this book repository, so we have to pass the instance of the bookstore context class, and the best way to resolve this is use dependency injections. I will not go into the details of dependency injections in this video because this is a huge concept, and we will learn everything about the dependency injections in some upcoming video. But for now, to resolve this error, let's use a dependency injection into our bookstore web application. As per the concept of dependency injection, we should not create the instance of any class by using this new keyword. This should be resolved from some other place. Okay, and let's first create the dependency. This dependency can be created in startup class. If you are coming from ASP.NET MEC5, then over there to use dependency injections, we have to use some third-party library. But in ASP.NET or MEC, this dependency injection is inbuilt. We do not need any third-party library. We can directly use dependency in this bookstore web application. Okay, to use the dependency, we need to use this services method, and at the last of this method, we can simply use services, then press dot and use add. There are a couple of methods over here to work with the dependency injections. But for now, just to resolve this error, I will be using this add scope method. Inside this add scope method, we need to pass the classes, and the name of our class is book repository, and the class who is going to resolve it. So first we need to pass the service and then the implementation. For now we do not have any interface, we only have this book repository class, so we can pass this book repository in both the type like this, and let's use the parenthesis. Now we have written the code for this dependency, and inside this book controller we need to create the dependency in the constructor book repository like this, and just simply use this book repository and assign it to this book repository. Now you can see the error is gone. Let's again build the solution. Okay, so build is successful. Now let's run this application into the debug mode. Let's click on the add new book button. So we got the form. Let's put some breakpoints over here. So in the post method, let's add a new breakpoint. Let's enter the details of the book. Suppose the title is Azure DevOps book, author is Nitish. Let's enter some description. Total pages. Suppose we have 250 pages in this book. Let's click on the add book button. So we got the debugger over here. Let's focus on the records. We have all the data. We have learned everything into the previous video by this place. Let's focus on the repository now. So in the book repository, you can see we are getting the instance and we have the context details as well. Let's press F10. Okay, let's go inside this method. Over here you can see that we are still getting all the details. Let's press F10. The instance of the new book has been created. Let's focus on the details. So this is the author, created on, description, title, total pages, and updated on. These details are coming from this datetime.utc now. And now let's again press F10. Again let's press F10. At the execution of this line, the data has been saved into the database. Let's focus on the ID. Over here you can see that the ID is 1. Okay, let's press again this F10 and let's return the view. And now let's focus on the database. Let's again run this query. Now you can see we got the details of the book into the database. So here is the ID 1. This is the title, author, description. All the details that we are passing from our application has been saved successfully in this database. But if you will notice on this form, we have added the data, but still everything is filled over here. We need to take care of this one. Also, if you will try to refresh this page, then you can see that we are getting a notice, resubmit a form. Since as a previous action we have posted this form. So again, if you will try to refresh this page, then the browser will ask you that you are again submitting this form. So if you will press on the continue button, then again a new record will be saved into your database. But we have to avoid this problem. So let's cancel it. This problem can be resolved easily by using the get method. So instead of using post method, if somehow we can display the record of the get method, then this problem will be resolved. Since the return type of this add new book is an ID, let's assign its value to the ID variable. And now over here we can verify if the ID is greater than 0, then we have to redirect this method to this get method, and to redirect it from this post to the get one, we can use return redirect to action. So there are a couple of methods over here, but we have to use redirect to action, and inside this redirect to action we need to pass the name of our method. So this is the add new book. Over here we need to pass it as a string. Now you can notice that we are getting again an error. The error says cannot implicitly convert the redirect to action result type. The return type in this case will be redirect to action result, but we are still using this view result return type. This is also a concept of MVC that we will learn in details in some upcoming video. This view result return type is used only to return a view from this action method. But if we are returning some other method, then we need to use some other return type. But since we have to use these two methods, so we need something which is compatible with both of them. So as a parent, we can simply use I action result. If we are using this I action result, then we can return any type of data from this action method. If you have noticed that we are passing the name of this method as a string, this one also can be resolved. We can simply use name of from the C#, and inside this we can pass this add new book. So if we are using this name of, then we will get the name of this add new book as a string. Okay, now let's run this application again. Click on the add new book. This time let's add new records. So suppose I'm writing MEC. Author is again suppose Nitish. Description, this is MEC book. Total pages, suppose there are 456. Let's click on the add book button. Okay, so we have written everything. Let's put a breakpoint over here. Let's click on the continue button. Let's continue. So we got the ID. ID is 2. Let's press F10. Now you can see the form has been reset. If you will click on this refresh button, then you can notice that we are not getting the notification of submitting this form again. Now let's learn how can we display a message that the book has been added successfully into the database. And for that we can use Bootstrap alerts. Over here you can search for alert. Here you can see we have a couple of alerts over here. We need to use the success one, and this success is coming from this div. But if you will notice that there is no cross button on these alerts, so we have to use someone where we have a cross button. Okay, so here we have the cross button. Let's copy this code and let's go again to the add new book, go to the view. Over here we need to display this message, and this message is for the warning, but we need to use it for the success. Okay, let's update the message. Okay, let's go back to the browser and refresh this page. The message looks fine. So we have the message. Click here to view the details. We will implement this one as well. And if I click on the cross button, then this message disappears. Now we need to write a logic that we should get this message only if the book has been added successfully, and for that we need to write some logic over here in this book controller. So inside this add new book, if we pass a parameter like bool, let's make it false by default, and we can simply use this viewBag dot is success. Let's assign this variable in this is success, and we need to pass this variable from this add new book post method. How to do that? As a second parameter in this redirect to action, you can see we need to pass the route values. And how to do that? So as an anonymous object, we can pass the value of this is success. So let's make it true. This post method will redirect to this add new book with is success true value, and this is success true value will be assigned to this viewBag property, and we can simply write our logic based on this viewBag dot is success. Go back to the add new book HTML page, and over here we can simply use an if condition by using razor syntax. Okay, let's cut this code, paste it over here, and there we go. Let's build this solution and let's run it. Click on the add new book button. Here you can notice that by default we are not getting any notification for the success message. Let's add few more books over here. So suppose over here I want to add a new book related to the ASP.NET MVC 5. Suppose author is Nitesh. Description. Suppose this book has 345 pages. Click on the add book button, and over here you can see that we are getting this notice that we have added a new book successfully. Why we are getting this? Because in the URL we have is success is equals to true, and we are passing it from the post method. Let's focus on the database as well. Execute this query again. This time you can see that we have 3 books into the database. Now let's implement this here link as well. This link can be implemented by using anchor tag helper. So we can simply use a here, and over here we need to pass the details of the controller and the action method. So we can simply use ASP controller. The details of the book is available on this book details method, so we can simply use this get book. The controller is book and the action method is this get book. We can pass the ID by using ASP route and simply use ID. Now we need the ID of the, and the ID of the book is available over here in this ID parameter. So we can pass this ID as well. So first let's do something over here. Int book ID is equals to 0, and here we can pass this book ID. Book ID is equals to, let's assign this new created ID. Okay, now what will happen? We are passing the ID of the book from this post method to the get method, and now let's write some logic for this get method as well. So again let's use one more viewBag. Book ID is equals to, let's assign this book ID. Let's copy this viewBag. Okay, and let's simply use it over here. Let's build the solution. Go back to the browser, refresh this page, or simply click on the add new book. Okay, let's add the details of the new book. Suppose I'm writing add new books 2, author, description, total pages. Suppose this has 234. Click on the add book button. This time you can see that this link is working. Let's click on this link now. We are getting the details of the book. If you are thinking why the details are different, this is because we have written the hard-coded values for this book details method, and for the ID4 here are the details. So right now we are not getting the details from the database, but in upcoming video we will get these details as well from the database, and then you will see a live working experience. Again click on the add new book, and you can add as many books you want to add into your database. In this video we have added the details of the book into database, but there are lots of improvements that we can do to these methods. We will learn everything into the upcoming videos, so keep watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button, tell me your feedback into the comment section, share this video, subscribe to the channel, and please join the WebGentle channel. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.